You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. Do not adjust your screens. Do not call the police. Don't call 911. No need. Yes, this is an actual video. I know it's been a very, very long time since I've done fresh recording video, other than just uploading highlights from my streams every now and then. So for those of you who don't come to the live stream on the weekends, just to kind of catch you up to speed real quick, and we're going to get into the Godzilla vs. Kong stuff in a minute. Basically started a new job at the end of January, and this year has been a very, very busy year to start off. Me and my family are getting ready to move in a couple of months, and this new job I have is fantastic, and I'm enjoying it, and it's a great place to work. It's a lot of responsibility. I work for a company that develops basically, like prosthetic arms, legs, but they also develop like replacement disc for your spine and hip joints and all that kind of stuff. So, and I'm responsible for the IT in the manufacturing department, basically the department that makes those things. So I need to make sure that they're up and running on a constant basis. These facilities go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because they're shipping these, joint replacements and all that stuff around the world 6 days out of the week, and then they're manufacturing them 7 days out of the week. So very, very, very busy year. But I wanted to try and make a goal of at least doing 1 to 3 videos a week, because while the live streams have been a lot of fun, and I want to thank you, for those of you who come to the live streams, I want to thank you for your consistent support. I know a lot of people obviously come to YouTube to watch videos, and people like to, come to this channel. They like to see the videos. So going to be trying to work this into my schedule. We're going to be getting back to the way videos used to be, but it's going to be a while, at least until after I move, because once I move, I'll kind of have my own space, which I don't have now. This is, when my kids are up, they're around and stuff like this. And if I record, I normally don't get to record till a little bit later into the evening, which can be tough. But I'm going to try and make a goal for at least 3 videos a week to try and at least have some consistency going forward. And then once the late summer gets here, you might see an influx of videos returning to like they were most of the year last year. So, but anyway, let's talk about Godzilla vs. Kong, because now we're in March. We got 1 more month of winter to go, and I'm praying to God it stays the way it's been, which is very little to no snow. We haven't gotten any snow hardly. We got snow this past Saturday. That was the first time, or the second time this year. The second time this winter. So I'm hoping there's no more snow. And snow in the Northeast, if you live in the Northeast, it can be brutal, especially here in New England. So, but all right. So what I wanted to do with this video is I wanted to kind of go over all the Godzilla vs. Kong news that has gone on since the end of last year, leading up to this point, because I think we're getting to a point now where we're going to start hearing some more buzz, and I would say some more concrete things. I'm still of the notion that we're going to get a full trailer come Comic-Con in July, God willing, because there's already been some cons that have been canceled, although some are still going on. And we don't know what's really going to happen with this coronavirus outbreak and how that's going to affect a lot of these functions going forward, how it's going to affect some movies. We do know that James Bond has already been moved back to, I think, a week before Godzilla vs. Kong. So we'll talk about that in a bit. So we're going to start with late last year. Obviously, the big reveal at a convention in Brazil was the 3-second clip of Godzilla and Kong appearing to fight on an aircraft carrier. That was a big deal. That confirmed a lot of things for a lot of people. It was only a 3-second clip. It wasn't that clear. It was fairly quick. And then even the pictures that came from that clip were pretty blurry. But it was something. You know what I mean? It was something. Obviously, I got to experience how the backlash of that hitting the internet. I was obviously got a copyright strike from Warner Brothers for a little while until I finally got in contact with Warner Brothers, had a discussion with them, and that worked out well. Obviously, the channel copyright strike got removed. And it turns out they were really more concerned about showing the 3-second actual clip than any pictures. So they had no problem taking it down. There was nothing really big that needed to happen, just communication, and it worked out. So good on Warner Brothers for that. And but I would say that along with the toy reveal, which was another big deal, because in the toy reveal we saw what looks to be Mechagodzilla. We saw Kong holding, I believe it was an axe. And obviously we got to see Godzilla with some weird contraption, or what seemed to be a contraption on him. And this also confirmed a lot of things. A lot of people, a year ago this time, the idea of a Mechagodzilla for me was just out there. I didn't feel that it was something they had to do, and I don't think it was something that would work with a general audience. And now here we are talking about him being in the movie, and it's still a little bit hard to believe. I mean, obviously it'll get a full confirmation when we see the movie, because there's always a slim chance that just because you see a toy reveal doesn't necessarily mean that thing or that toy is going to be in the movie. We've seen this happen dozens of times with many different movies that are aimed at children or aimed at older kids, 9, 10, 11, that you'll get a toy line completely related to a movie, and then a good portion or a good amount of the characters that are on the toy line are not necessarily in the movie. We've seen this with Transformers for a good example. But, if you listen to the whispers in the wind, if you read the forums and different forums like Toho Kingdom and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of people who have been claiming to have some early insights or early views as to what's going on that are saying that this is a thing. So assuming that all works out, assuming that the toy and the movies coincide, and assuming that these claims are accurate, then yeah, we're going to see Mechagodzilla this year. I still feel it's not going to work for the general audience. It's going to work for me. The only reason I never wanted Mechagodzilla in there was because I was concerned about the longevity of the MonsterVerse. But I think we're probably at the tail end of the MonsterVerse. A lot of people talk about the MonsterVerse will continue. I don't disagree with that at all. I think it will. I just don't think it's going to continue on screen unless the movie does a substantial amount of money. But I do think there's life for future in the comics, possibly maybe a streaming series on Netflix or Hulu if they ever get to that. We've seen Ultraman pop up onto Netflix. We've seen obviously the Godzilla animated series. So Netflix is very open to obviously that kind of a genre. So who knows? Who knows if we get something like a Monarch series. So, but we'll talk about that in another video, because I had an idea about that I wanted to discuss, and I'll leave that for another video, hopefully this week. So, I would say that from the end of the year to now, the biggest thing was obviously the 3-second clip and the toy reveal. And then we've had some more toy functions where they did reveal on the latest one that happened about 2 weeks ago in New York. They did reveal new toys for Godzilla vs. Kong, but it wasn't revealed out to the public. It was behind closed doors. No pictures were allowed, none of that. But it was confirmed that they did show something off. We just don't know what it is. I gave it 48 hours at the time to see if anything leaked out, if somebody was willing to come out and speak anonymously as to what they saw, but nobody did. So that's something we're just going to have to wait for. So along with all that, obviously, we got some screenshots, or I should say pictures from the set. There was really nothing too revealing on that. We discussed this on a lot of the stuff I'm going over. We discussed on the streams, but I just kind of want to bring it up here on video for the viewers who do not go to the live streams and who have been probably wondering where I've been. But so we did go over those in the stream, and there was nothing really revealing in those pictures. Most of you probably saw them by now, except the one picture that looked like a huge contraption that could potentially hold a monster. But again, that's a speculation. But it also leads into some of the other things you heard about the movie, like Ghidorah being behind chains or something like that. So, or being hooked up to chains. So we'll see if any of that comes to pass. Now, I bring all these things up that have happened over the course of the last 3 months, because now we're in March, and I think once we kind of hit the spring, once we hit into April, I do think we're going to slowly start getting some news regarding the movie. I don't think it's going to be anything major. I think it's going to be small trickles going. I know there's a lot of people who feel that we'll get something in terms of what we're going to see, like maybe a mini trailer or a teaser trailer before Comic-Con. I do think a teaser is feasible, like one of those 30-second numbers, but I'm still banking on a full trailer at Comic-Con, permitting that Comic-Con still happens this year because of what's going on with the coronavirus. So now if those plans change, if let's say, for example, Comic-Con decides to push the convention back a couple of months, or if they cancel it outright, then yes, I do believe that if Legendary Warner Brothers gets wind of that beforehand, then they may pull the trigger and release it before July, because July, assuming that the trailer comes out in July, then you have July, August, September, October, November. So then you roughly got 4 months before. Now, to me, that's a prime time to release a full-fledged trailer for the movie, because I do think obviously they're taking the opposite step that they were the last time with King of the Monsters. One of the reasons we obviously did not see a lot of information coming out, official information that is because at the time they were probably weighing the option of moving it back. They hadn't made a decision yet, and they didn't want to commit to doing any kind of marketing if they were going to push the movie back. So that's probably one of the reasons why they haven't really done much of anything regarding the movie up to this point. Well, before they changed the date, I should say up to that point. So, but I do think April, May, June especially June more than anything, we'll definitely get information. And this is the stuff that we've seen before. You know, everything that you've seen when it happened in 2014, when it happened with King of the Monsters, when it happened with Skull Island, you know, as the movie is about 6 months out, 4 to 6 months out, you start getting like the Empire Magazine specials, the exclusive interviews. You know, you start getting more people being interviewed, talking about the movie, things of that nature. You start getting more information, nothing major, nothing too much about the plot, but you start getting a little bit more information going forward. So I would say, you know, wrapping up everything that's happened from the end of last year up to now, you know, you really kind of look at it, and most of the information is leaked stuff, you know, the toys, the clip, you know, and then you get the unofficial leaks from Reddit or from Toho Kingdom or from whatever, you know, from people who, some of them have obviously, you know, they have a bit of a good record. Anonymous viewer who recently said he had another test screening and he had very, very positive things to say about the movie. And, you know, when it comes to test screenings, I'm always a little bit 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other, because I've always, doing this since 2013 and always hearing about different people having test screenings, I don't ever recall anyone having anything negative to say about a test screening. So a test screening is not a really good footprint as to whether or not the movie's going to be good, because obviously it's one person's opinion. And in my experience, like 70% of the time, 100% of the time I hear about test screenings, they're usually positive. Then when the movie comes out, usually the movie turns out to be worse than the buzz gave it. And that seems to happen about 70% of the time. Not saying that I think Godzilla vs. Kong is going to be bad, but, you know, he's fortunate he got to see it. And he was reporting that it's under 2 hours, which a lot of people seem to be upset about. I am not. I don't think a movie needs to be 2 or 3 hours to be good. Sometimes less is better. You know what I mean? And, you know, I still think there's a lot to be excited about. Obviously, people are still kind of getting very impatient, but you got to remember, you still got a long way to go. Now, I know one thing people are starting to think about already. This kind of came up over the weekend on the stream, was whether or not the movie is going to be pushed back again, or whether or not it's going to be affected by Bond. It being pushed back again, while it's always a possibility, I think it's slim to none. I can't see the coronavirus playing a big role in it that late down the year. I mean, as much as people are going nuts about the coronavirus, it's really no different than what happened with SARS when it came out. The problem with coronavirus right now is that there's not really enough information. Remember, we're getting information out from China. China is not exactly the most honest country in the world. They're a dictatorship, and they would sooner let some of their people die there rather than make their country look bad. So that's really what the problem is. But overall, as it stands right now, from the statistics that have been gathered, last I saw, the coronavirus current death rate is about 3.5%. When you look at the regular flu that we suffer on a yearly basis during the winter, that is a little over 1%. So percentage-wise, it's not as, you know, it's slightly worse than the regular flu. The problem with the coronavirus is that it's very contagious, very easy to spread. But there's just a lot of rumors going on. Like, there's rumors going out that there's a second strain that nobody knows about. And all this crap. And that's really what's causing like this big uproar. You know, this is not the first flu type epidemic we've been through. This is not the first one I've seen. You know, remember, we've had SARS, we've had the swine flu. Ebola is much more scarier than coronavirus, and we managed to get through that. So I think while it should be taken seriously, you should take care of yourself, wash your hands, all that good stuff. I think a lot of people are blowing it out of proportion. Just take care of yourself. The other positive thing that not a lot of people are talking about is another stat that came out is that it is not harming young people. Most of the people that are dying, and not all, because there was like somebody in China that was like 30 or 33, one of the doctors that discovered it obviously passed away. But for the most part, great majority of the people who are passing away are people in nursing homes. And that's another bit of news that a lot of people are not getting. These are people that are already sick. These are people that already have compromising immune system deficiencies. So they're very susceptible to the much stronger upper respiratory infection in regards to coronavirus. So, but again, the masses think it's this next horrible thing. People out there buying water, and you can still drink your tap water. It's not poisoned. People out there buying masks, which is not really going to help anything. You can still. It's a very contagious flu. It's a very contagious virus. So mask is not really going to protect you all that much. It might give you some slight protection, but not really that much. And if you catch it, that doesn't mean you're going to die. I mean, some of we spoke about this on stream, but when the swine flu was big, I actually caught the swine flu. And the worst part of the swine flu when I had it was really my joint pains were horrendous. Every time I coughed, I felt like, you've seen Aliens? I felt like a chest popper was going to pop out. You know what I mean? That's how bad. But the fever wasn't even that bad, and I got over it like in 4 days, So, these things, and I guess maybe that's why I'm not that I'm not taking this seriously, but because I know from experience that these things are not as death-defying as like the media is making it out to be. It is just an amplified version of the flu that can kill you if you're either older or if you have an immunodeficiency issue. And if you have an immunodeficiency issue, then you need to take extra care. So, but anyway, that kind of went off the rails there, in terms of, I don't think overall it's going to affect Godzilla vs. Kong, the coronavirus. I think by then we'll have answers, we'll have a solution, and it may even be dying down by then. Now, in terms of Bond, different ball of wax. Now, Bond obviously has a big effect on Godzilla vs. Kong going into that month. I don't think, based on Bond moving to that month, I don't think there's much that Legendary Warner Brothers can do about that, because where they're going to go from this point. You can't really go into Christmas because it's kind of other than a big tentpole movies like Star Wars was, you're really not going to attract too many people into the theater. I don't think the kaiju genre is strong enough to dominate a month like December unless there's really nothing else playing. And even then, they're not going to pull in numbers like a Star Wars. I think they just have to eat this one. They're going to have to eat it. There's no other way around it. I was never worried about Eternals. I know people keep bringing up Eternals. I'm not saying Eternals is not going to make money. It's a Marvel movie, obviously. But it just doesn't worry me as much as Bond, because Eternals comes out about 3 weeks before Godzilla vs. Kong. And take, for example, Avengers Endgame. That was 4 weeks before Godzilla King of the Monsters. And it did not really have an effect. In fact, it had no effect on Godzilla King of the Monsters. Godzilla King of the Monsters failed on its own accords. Yes, it had some stiff competition, with some other movies in that area. But for the most part, Avengers Endgame had nothing to do with it. So Eternals not being as much of a hyped movie as Avengers Endgame, I really don't see that playing a role in Godzilla vs. Kong. However, Bond coming out a week before, yeah, that's good. That one's going to hurt. There's no way around it. But I don't know if there's much Warner Brothers and Legendary can do. I don't see them pushing it back more, because whatever general audience members they gained from Godzilla King of the Monsters, I think going further back is going to hurt them more. I think they're better off just standing pat and letting the movie stand on its own. I mean, if they did a good job refilming things and they did a good job reshooting, then just let it stand on its own, and we just as fans can hope that they did well. And that's really it. That's really it. I don't see the coronavirus playing a role by the time November rolls around. I really do think that the coronavirus may still very well still be around, but I don't think it's going to play a factor. You know what I mean? I really don't think it's going to play a factor in the movie by that point. I think by the end of the summer, we're going to kind of have an answer, and it's kind of that whole hysteria is going to start dying down. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we're going to continue doing more videos every week. It's going to be anywhere from 1 to 3 videos a week. I do have at least 2 more I want to do this week. I have another discussion I want to do regarding the future of the Monsterverse. and what kind of potential shows we could see if they ever decide to do that. If you had to ask me now, I would say that I don't see the MonsterVerse continuing in the movies. That's just my opinion. That's not fact. I'm not saying I have any sources, nothing. But, I just get this feeling that's where we're going, because one of the things I always said, or at least my theory was, if they ever do a Mechagodzilla, to me, that's them solidifying that that's the end. Because if we go into this movie and we do get Mechagodzilla, but we don't see Mechagodzilla in like the trailers or in the TV spots, or they kind of conceal that, which I think it's probably a smart move, because again, I just don't feel the general audience is going to resonate with a metal Godzilla, a giant metal Godzilla. I just don't see that happening. I know people get mad when I say that, but that's just how I feel. I just don't see it working. And I always said, if you're going to do Mechagodzilla, keep it for last, because if you do that and you want to continue the series, you may get some people that are not coming back, because you went from a very grounded, dark, thematic Godzilla 2014. You shifted away from that in King of the Monsters, and now you're completely jumping off a cliff with Mechagodzilla. It's a big shift, because, there's a lot of general audiences that liked Godzilla 2014 because of that dark thematic ground level. I know a lot of Toho fans weren't into it. A lot of purists weren't into it. But I think it still was the right approach, because when you're making a movie based on a very popular, IP, your goal is to bring in the general audience, because they're the ones who are going to bring most of the profits. And you want to score at least half of the fan base, because the fan base will never, ever outnumber the general audience. They never will. There's no fan base that can really carry a franchise, except maybe Star Wars, and even that is still a toss-up. But especially in the kaiju genre, the kaiju genre fan base is very, very small by comparison to other fan bases, and is especially much smaller than the general audiences. So, but we'll see. It's going to start getting interesting. We got a month of winter left, and we're heading into spring, and that's, I think, when things are going to start heating up. So I think it's a good time to keep your eyes peeled and see what's going on. And again, I'll have another video up this week. I don't want to say which day, but I'm recording this on a Monday. It'll be up on a Tuesday. And yeah, we'll go from there. And then, of course, as many of you know, I stream Fridays and Saturday nights at 9 p.m. And it's usually, lately, it's been this pretty much talking about anything from Godzilla to, other movies and things of that nature. So, but anyway, guys, that's it for this long video. I'm sorry it was 22 minutes at this currently as it stands, but I wanted to catch up with a lot of things. And I also wanted to get you guys who do not come to the live streams up to speed on what's going on with me and why I haven't been uploading. For those of you who enjoy the podcast and have been listening to the podcast, that is also going to be on ice until late summer, when I actually have time to sit down and record a 45 to an hour episode, which I absolutely do not anymore. So that option's completely gone. And like, again, for those of you who are on the live streams, you guys know in detail exactly what my days entail now. I kind of told you how my job works and things of that nature, but just know that my job is very demanding. It's very busy. It's the busiest job I've ever had. And I'm even on passive, for lack of a better term, passive on call, which means I'm never scheduled to be on call. But if they do call me at any given time, at any time of the night or the morning, which they've done twice already, I got to go in. So it's crazy stuff, but it's the good stuff. I like it. All right. Anyway, that's it for this video. Once again, you weren't dreaming. This is a real video on the channel, and there will be more, just very limited to 1 to 3 videos a week. I'm going to do the best I can. I want to keep the ball rolling. But until next time, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news. We just talk entertainment. Take it easy.